This episode, we are asking the question, can I feed my cat raw? The Pet Health and Happiness podcast from Bella+Duke, keeping you at the cutting edge of pet nutrition, behavior, and health with expert interviews, mythbusters, and more to ensure your pet lives a long, happy, healthy life. Brendan, we've talked about dogs plenty. It's time to bring cats into the raw fraternity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my cat's fed raw. You've got to understand, they've done research here. You probably don't know, as cat owners out there, that 90% of cats are already eating raw. They've done the checks. They've done the checks. They know the feces of your cat usually contains bird or mouse DNA. Okay, so they're probably already snacking without you knowing.
Okay, so we've gone straight to the punchline here, and I love it. The point is, not only can your cat eat raw, not only is it the healthiest possible solution for your cat within parameters, but your cat's already eating raw because that's what they're hardwired to do, is to go out and hunt and eat raw prey. So, Brendan, that's a great stat. Did you tell us 90%? Was that the stat you shared with me?
90% that I believe in the papers that were written, 90% of cats had DNA from birds or mice found in their feces, so from hunting prey. So now we've got to remember, we might be doing something really green here. If you actually start to feed your cat raw from Bella+Duke, then what you may be doing is saving some of those little fluffy creatures out there, the little birds, because you're going to be feeding them the stuff that they've been seeking for most of their lives. So why not get out there, put it in their dish, and give them something that's absolutely A grade?
I feel like we've covered this, but there's so many other questions.
That's fine.
I have a personal theory, Brendan, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, that feeding your cat raw is, in many respects, even more important than feeding your dog raw. Now, that's not to say you do one or the other. I would say you do both. I have a cat and a dog, and obviously both of them are raw fed. But the reality is, cats are so much more sensitive to certain amino acids being missing from the diet, which are destroyed by processing. They are obligate carnivores, and they do need to get a lot of moisture from their meals, don't they? Are these correct facts?
Okay, so we've got to remember, these are, let's deal with the last point first, okay? These are desert creatures, believe it or not, okay? So tamed out in the Middle East, we classically see the Egyptian hieroglyphs with cats all around and everything else. But, this is where, they were developed and really created in that cradle of humanity, bond with living around humans. And, we, really felt that we'd go for the smaller cat. Fortunately, we didn't decide to tame lions. That would have been a whole other kettle of fish,
Literally.
or antelope. And the point is that these creatures are effectively reliant on their kidneys being super efficient at keeping moisture in their body because of that desert background. Now, that also means that with a relatively high protein food, it is seen quite quickly when their kidneys start to deteriorate. Okay, because we start to see protein coming through in their urine. We start to see the effects of renal disease and things like that coming on board. So actually keeping your cat hydrated, okay, and actually being able to make sure that they're taking enough water can often be a challenge to many people who are feeding other kibble foods and dried versions. And actually here, when you're feeding raw, you are actually increasing their moisture intake. So that's going to really, really help your cat in the long term. Now, the other elements that you asked me about, are they obligate carnivores? I think we are starting to understand that biologically appropriate feeding, including for your dogs, as we've talked about before, is so important. And actually the mainstay, they are prey animals. They have a jaw structure which is designed to just chomp, chomp, swallow. Okay, they are there for those little prey animals, and they will get through them very, very quickly. Okay, they have got no way of moving their jaw from side to side to grind grains, to take down plant material. You know that, for those cats that go out there and eat cat grass and grass from the back garden, it doesn't get ground up at all. What ends up happening is it balls up in the stomach and ends up usually being a lovely deposit for you in the morning to avoid in your bare feet on the way down to make the tea. Okay, and that's because they have no way of actually getting that plant material digested and through their intestine.
So I think we've covered quite a few things there. So let's just recap. Cats are obligate carnivores. We do need to feed them a prey equivalent diet. In the modern world, ultimately a complete raw, high caliber raw is the best answer to that, unless you're going to go out and catch all your own mice. Not quite so hygienic, but fortunately cats do have the microbiome. Yeah, we got it in, Brendan. They've got the bacteria to be able to deal with that. That's what they've evolved to do. That's what they've inherited from their parents and their parents' parents. Is in their genetic coding, pretty much, that they are going to be designed to do this. They need to get moisture from their meals. And that's why feeding them something dry and ultra processed is as far from what they were designed or to eat, or what they're able to chew, or in fact what benefits them. It's purely for our convenience. And you shared with me an amazing fact last week, which is cat hyperthyroidism only recently started in the last few generations of cats, since they started switching the sachets in which they're fed. Brendan, tell us more about that.
Okay, so there has been some links that have been found to some of the plastic liners to these to keep the foods fresh when they've processed them. And they've looked at those cats which are fed usually with those processed foods seem to have a higher incidence of hyperthyroidism. And so this is one of the classic links that they looked at for why were we suddenly getting huge numbers of cats increasing the amount of thyroid disease. So it is one of those amongst a few things that are going on with our lives, but it's certainly one of those things that's been pointed at as to maybe one of the causes for an increase in thyroid cancers in cats.
Yeah, my goodness me. So, Brendan, I think we've got so much we could talk about. Maybe we split this into 2 episodes and we do a how-to in another episode. But realistically, to recap, you can feed your cat raw. In fact, it's the only sensible solution, in my opinion, to do. It plays to their biology, it delivers them more nutrients, it's what they're hardwired to do. And let's face it, your cat is already eating raw. Brendan, what else do we need to add in on why you should be feeding your cat raw if we haven't covered all the bases already?
I think there is a lot of behavioral stuff for our cats, okay? And one of my big areas in practice and over the years and when I developed through was all about cat behavior. I really love to talk about behavior for dogs and cats. And I would say one of the elements of improving their mental well-being, how they interact in your home can be enhanced by what and how you feed them. Okay, so really start to get to grips with this, get them onto raw. You can mix them across. I think a lot of people get very worried about how to get their cats from effectively a cat addictive food with additives in there to really make them buzz. And how to wean them off that process of salts and amino acids and various other elements that are added into some of those diets. Okay, 9 out of 10 cats prefer it for a reason. And there is sometimes we have to wean them off that. It's like taking sugar out of a builder's tea. You know, you have to do it slowly, otherwise they'll spit it out and go, I'm not having that. So we need to talk about how to wean those stubborn cats across, okay, that they can cope with it. There are some cats, as I say, which are going to be absolutely fine because they're eating raw to some degree, and their prey instinct has attracted them into doing that. But there are others that don't see the prey being that thing that's still in the bowl. So you need to work out how to improve that appeal to them.
Awesome. Let's cover that in the next episode. So everybody, if you're interested in sharing the good news, yes, your cat can eat raw, then please do share this, give us a rating, come and join our Facebook group. We're the friendliest group out there. It's all people who are interested in basically improving the lives of their pets, sharing that and picking up tips. So Brendan, I will see you in the next episode, and thank you once again.
No, it's a great pleasure.